What do you mean?
What do you mean?
What do you mean?
Listen to me very carefully. This is an emergency. We're fucked. Australia is going full fash. We're fucked. Okay, now I'll explain the Australian Federal Police raids on journalists' homes and the ABC headquarters in Sydney. Now, what they wanted from the ABC journalists were documents to do with the Afghan files from 2017. They had warrants for Samuel Clark, Insider's executive producer, and investigative reporter Daniel Oakes. I even remember reading things ages ago about our troops, Australian troops, doing shit like using a dead man's prosthetic leg as a cup to drink out of, like shit like that. So yeah, like we should know stuff like that. The AFP are going into the homes of journalists and reporters. They were going through Annika Smithhurst's oven and her underwear drawer because she had the audacity of telling the Australian people that they wanted to push to make changes to Australian spying laws. They wanted to change the laws so they can look at any Australians' emails, bank records, text messages, and she had the audacity of trying to give us a heads up. Now, what's really fascinatingly fucked about how they've gone after ABC's Afghan files and this News Corp journalist, because if you're a solid "what do you mean" fan or just an Australian that pays attention, you can see why that means no one's safe. I'll fill you in. I'll show you why. Now these are our OG5. We've got ABC, Australian Broadcasting, and then we've got SBS, Special Broadcasting, and they're the two that are government owned. And then the three that, of course, his father, Rupert Murdoch, is the executive chairman, and News Corporation owns 100% of News Corp Australia, which has 13.23% of HT&E Limited. All Murdoch, all that's Murdoch. Now, here is just a short list of... So, boom. They're going after any journalist anywhere if you work for the government-funded media company or fucking Murdoch, which pretty much... Well, I'll let Kerry O'Brien give you a little more detail from his interview with the Project.
Why raid Annika Smithhurst's home and not her office? And I think one possible reason, one stark reason perhaps, is because Annika Smithhurst's office was smack in the middle of the Parliament. And for the thought of a police raid into the centre of Parliament House, which of course is the centre of democracy, even the police might have worked out that that was going to cause a ruckus. This whole thing just stinks. I think the questions it raises are alarming. To me, it is two big steps down the road to authoritarianism in this country.
Another interesting little side note in that was also how, News Corp journalists have offices in Parliament. Funny that. Well, yes, I do agree with Mr. O'Brien that getting closer to authoritarianism, it does stink. I'm not a fan. But, however, on the police having the sense that going into the centre of democracy will cause a ruckus, not so much. I feel like, considering, I think since all these agencies are under the same minister's watch, I think they're in the house. I'm going to say that the criminal is most likely the person who is demanding the information is not seen by anybody, rather than the person trying to report information, especially when that's their job. Now, I've put together a little montage of my warnings because beating a dead horse is exhausting, but still, this is a video because it's an emergency, but I am repeating myself. 2019, so Tuesday, from the New York Times. It ties into the last video I did a little bit in the sense of pretty much just telling whistleblowers to get lost. So the article I read from the New York Times was titled, Navy SEALs were warned against reporting their chief for war crimes. And I'll just read you. When we can get our hands on footage of war crimes.
We have a van that's approaching and picking up the bodies.
Where's that van at?
Right down there by the body.
Okay, yeah.
So yeah, I demand that the Australian government do everything they can to get Assange back here safely, because exposing war crimes shouldn't be punished. War crimes should be punished.
Authorized by the United Bitches of America.
Okay, while at April, I'm just saying. Now what do you reckon Section 302B of the Local Governance Act of 1999 was? Oh, would you look at that? And how about Section 7 of the Public Sector Act 2009? Oh, wow. Can't really be that surprising when this public interest disclosure is meant to replace Whistleblowers Protection Act of 1993. That's a bit sus. If he's found guilty, I will lose my shit. Especially how that's where the AA comes from. Bill 2018. For the very few people that don't already know, this pretty much just means that they want to force Facebook into giving them your WhatsApp messages. Now, this one pretty much wrote itself. Recently, right now, really? But I get to say, I told you so. The proof's there months ago. I try to warn yous. But if you put these agencies in the same department and put that bold reptilian at the head of it, what could possibly go wrong? See, that's why I kind of didn't put too much effort in asking the Australian government to go help out Assange, because it's a little more than obvious that they could not care less. If anything, they will be like, yeah, fuck them. Do you want to take some of our, whistleblowers and whatnot too? And see, it's not just all whistleblowers in the army and war crimes and such. If, you see, Edward Snowden worked for the government and thought what they were doing was fucked and leaked the information and was the whistleblower, and we have a Murdoch journalist with an office in Parliament that was pretty much telling us the same sort of thing. They want to look at our everything and they want to be able to go through everything of everyone's. Now, just to make it clear, the reason they don't like people telling everyone about how they're fucking us over is because then we would get mad about our privacy being invaded, about our money being used just to needlessly kill or fund things that are ultimately going to kill us all in the end. We get mad and we'll make them stop, you see? And then they don't have their cushy jobs and everything. So they have to feed us propaganda on how they're doing a wicked job and tax cuts for everybody. Woo! Oh yeah, taxes. How they used the police as an intimidation tactic again on Richard from the ATO, because he thought it wasn't very nice that the tax office was ripping people off, giving them garnishes that they shouldn't have. Whistleblowers are important. They are trying to call out wrongdoings. Journalists are important. They are their megaphone. They are so we can hear them when they say, oi, this is fucked up, they shouldn't be doing that. They're on our side. And as shitty as Australian media can be, it's one of those things where you're better off with something than nothing, isn't it? And oh my god, now I've put a video within a video within a video because of fucking potato-eyed Dutton. We shouldn't have all of those agencies under the same department. Said it before, when they made that fucking act. I guess I'll just keep saying it. And remember, if anyone asks, what do you mean it's just your casual art satire bingo channel? Yeah.